Think time travel is a bargain? Start over, get buffed, and then dominate the world? Think again. Arthur Leywin, a newborn baby in the magical world, is actually the legendary King Grey, the strongest king in his previous life. After a mysterious death, Arthur was reincarnated into a world where humans, monsters, and magic coexist. But nothing is easy. With the memories of the war god, he begins his journey to become the strongest mage, fighting against the ancient forces, the gods, and making the most powerful families bow down. And before you start your journey to sweep the world, don't forget to like and subscribe to Mew Mew Studio to be safe first. The story begins with a strange scene. The main character tells, "I never believed in the phenomenon that people call light at the end of the tunnel. Nonsense. Where people, after a near-death experience, wake up in a cold sweat and say, 'I saw the light.' However, right now here, I am being helped by something in this tunnel. But how did I die? The last thing I remember is that I was alone in my room. I looked at the city from above, then I felt my body heavy. When I was lying on the bed, was I poisoned or assassinated? Thinking back, I feel sad. There are too many people who want me dead. After all, I am a king. I want to know as much as possible about my death, but there is nothing more I can do now. I have no choice but to accept it. Is it better? When there are angels singing together at the last moment of life. At this moment, a blurry figure, along with a gentle voice, rang out. "Congratulations, sir and madam, it's a healthy baby boy," the voice continued. "Wait, I was just born? Hold him up a little, honey, I can't see clearly. That means I've been reincarnated. No, that's not important." Then a blurry woman came forward and said, "What a lovely baby." The man next to her saw that and also came forward happily and exclaimed, "The baby has the same hair as his father." At this moment, the image of everyone around became clearer. MC must have been reincarnated as a child. He looked around and asked in confusion, "Where am I? I can understand their language. That's a good sign." A bright and gentle smile filled with motherly love. Her smile captivated me, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. "Your son has eyes just like yours, sweetheart." Seeing that, the MC thought to himself, "I'm pretty sure this man is a strict father." No sooner had the words been spoken than his father walked over, smiling warmly at him, and said, "Hello, little angel, A.R.T. Can you call me Papa?" His mother saw that and walked over, looked at her husband with an unhappy, steely eye, and said, "Ray, what are you joking about? Our child was just born." MC saw that and didn't pay attention, and looked around. He thought to himself, "Don't worry about it. There's nothing special around me." He looked at the candle and felt confused. Now he looked at the pile of armor. He paused and looked for a while, then spoke. "What the hell? Where am I?" A few weeks passed. When MC was protected by his parents and given all their love, he gradually felt moved and thought of them. My mother, Alice, was a gentle, capable person with a kind heart. My father, Reynolds, was a trustworthy man, and charming if you ignore his childishness. I am very grateful to be born into a happy family. My previous life was full of hardships. Now I don't want enemies to come looking for me anymore. Now I can control the movements of my arms and legs, but I can't control the functions of my body yet. Then he blushed, thinking, "In my previous life I was honored as a king, a representative of the country. Now I feel so ashamed and wish it was all just a dream." While Alice took him to the market, he also looked around, wondering and curious about them. In this era, they often carry weapons with them, along with stalls selling strange medicines, strengthening drugs, for only 2 coins. I guess I must be using the suspicious liquids that are being transported as medicine and are being sold legally. While he was curiously looking around, Alice turned to look at him with a tender gaze and gently asked, "My little Art must be tired, huh?" Then she added, "How about we go home now, okay?" Hearing that, Art immediately felt a bit down. Once he got home, he couldn't stop thinking. His curiosity kept pushing him to learn more about everything around here. Knowledge is power. I realized that through the surrounding environment, and now I am confident that I have mastered everything. Meanwhile, his father, Ray, had just returned. He immediately went forward and lifted him up happily and said loudly, "Daddy is home. How is my little angel?" And then this father threw him up high. Alice saw that and was startled and shouted loudly, "Ray, what are you doing? What if I fall down?" His face was pale and trembling, lying comfortably in his father's arms. As expected, this body was so fragile. Seeing that, the dad chuckled with delight. As for Art, he kept thinking to himself, who would have, though, just one throw could leave me this exhausted? And then, once again, the father suddenly lifted him high into the air and cheerfully said, "Your grandpa used to do this with me when I was a kid." He turned to his wife and added, "Look, honey, our son's having a blast." And then Ray got even more playful, twirling him around in a full 180-degree turn. When Alice saw that, she was startled and shouted loudly, "Ray!" Art's face was now purple. His eyes and nose were dazed. He was about to vomit. While stopping, Arthur was dazed, his foot hitting the wall beside him. Alice saw that and immediately turned into a demon, gently placing her hand on Ray's shoulder. With this newborn body being hit like that, he also cried out. Alice saw that and immediately hugged him. Then there were motherly coaxing sounds. Next, she put her hand on his wound and gently said, "Let Mom heal you." After she used magic power to heal Arthur's wounds, she happily lifted him up and said, "That's much better now." Arthur, a bit confused, looked at his mother and quietly thought to himself, "I think I decided everything hastily. I still can't understand everything about this world. In my previous life, I was a king, a man above 10,000 people. With my military command skills, I challenged most of the countries in the world and won. They all had to fall and kneel respectfully at my feet. However, with all the achievements I have achieved, it still doesn't make me feel as proud as now." Back to reality. At that moment, Arthur was beaming with a bright smile. Feeling proud of himself, his eyes lit up with heroic excitement as he thought, "I finally crawled! I did it!" Standing to the side, Art's parents immediately couldn't help but be surprised. Everyone held their breath, watching his every step. Alice, unable to hide her excitement, suddenly shouted, "Ray! Don't hit your head there!" Without hesitation, Ray replied, "Okay, honey. Go block it near that shelf." But at that moment, due to a moment of carelessness, Arthur accidentally hit his head on the mirror in front of him. The pain was excruciating, and he fell straight to the floor. From afar, Arthur's parents burst out laughing. "Look! My son is looking at himself in the mirror!" At the same time, Arthur was still standing there, dazed and lost in a swirl of confused thoughts. Many months had passed, but I still hadn't gotten used to my new name. Being a former king named Art was a bit too cute for me. But when I looked at myself in the mirror, I had to admit that I was extremely cute. While Arthur was still lost in thought, a strange grin crept across his face. He smugly looked at himself in the mirror and confidently declared in his mind, "Looks like the ladies of the future won't be able to resist my good looks." His oddly adorable stillness made both his parents burst into laughter. Later, when Arthur had drifted off to sleep, Alice gently kissed his cheek. With a soft gaze, she smiled contentedly and whispered, "Sweet dreams, my precious little boy." But the moment she closed the door behind her, Arthur suddenly opened his eyes wide, glancing around alertly. Excited, he sat up and stretched. "All right, let's get started." Without hesitation, he pulled the blanket off and climbed over the crib's edge. Step by step, carefully and steadily, he made his way out. With a soft thud, he landed safely on the floor. Peeking out cautiously, he thought to himself, "Mom thinks I'm asleep. I've got about an hour before she checks back." Without wasting time, Arthur began crawling forward. In no time, he slipped past his mom, who was happily humming while washing dishes. Almost there. Just a little more, he urged himself. And then he reached it, the mysterious light shining through the slightly open door. Arthur peeked inside, eyes sparkling with excitement. The room was filled with towering stacks of neatly arranged books. He clenched his tiny fist, grinning proudly. Perfect. Without delay, he began crawling around the room, exploring the books. Each pile had strange symbols and markings, fascinating him. "Since I found this place, I've been sneaking in here every night, searching for clues about this world. This continent is called Dicathen, made up of 3 major kingdoms. Deep within the forests lies Elenoir, the land of the elves. Far underground, the dwarves rule Darv, a kingdom built beneath the earth. And lastly, the most densely populated kingdom, Sapin, home of the humans. Just like my previous world, this one is also ruled by monarchies." Arthur reached out and grabbed a special book from the shelf, reading as he thought. Power is passed down from one generation to the next. This world is definitely less advanced than my old one. He realized the world's lack of technological progress. Ah, this might be why. Magic. A thick book opened before him as if on cue. Without hesitation, Arthur flipped through it, scanning each page eagerly. Then one particular page caught his attention. He traced the words with his finger, deeply intrigued. In my past world, we called the energy used to enhance the body and weapons Ki, but it required intense training. Here it's similar, but it's called mana. Unlike Ki, mana exists naturally in the world around us. Arthur scratched his diapered butt while reading, excited. However, only 1 in 100 people can use mana, and it's mostly inherited. Arthur frowned in frustration. Ugh, stupid diaper, he muttered internally. Still, mana could be used in 2 main ways: body enhancement and magic casting. Body enhancement boosts strength, defense, and agility beyond normal limits. Its downside? The range of its abilities is limited. Magic casting, on the other hand, lets you manipulate the environment using your internal mana. But to keep it going, you need to absorb mana from the world around you. My mom, people call her a deviant, a rare type of mage who can emit mana outside her body. They can even heal others using their own mana. Arthur crossed his arms, frowning in thought. Mages first awaken during puberty when their mana core forms. Sounds just like the Ki system from my past life. Back then, children were taught to meditate and feel fragments of Ki inside them, drawing it to one point. Thinking about this, Arthur looked down at his hands. Then focus on one place. Thinking of this, he unconsciously raised both hands to look. With just a few thoughts, he was ready to enter the meditation position. Art momentarily frowned in discomfort. Very quickly after that, a beam of light suddenly appeared in front of his round belly. Art was somewhat excited. It's working! It was, suddenly? Without giving him time to think too much, a slender hand suddenly hugged him from behind. Alice immediately lifted him up with a bright smile. There you are, Art. Don't make Mom worry like that. Then Alice suddenly stopped, as if she realized something, and wondered. Honey, are you pooping in your diaper? Right now, Art was shy, thinking to himself. Mom, I promise I will become the greatest magician in the world, so please don't think of me as a child pooping in his pants. He continued to drop bombs. Without hesitation, Alice smiled brightly. Mom guessed it was time to change the diaper. Very quickly after that, Art regained consciousness in time and told himself. It turned out that because he was too focused, he soiled the diaper without realizing it. If you find the video useful, please like, comment, and subscribe to support me to make more content.